Today we're gonna talk about the discovery in CNC. It's a good topic, by the way. I like this topic about the malware analysis. And here are my contacts on Twitter, and here are my contacts too, and social medias. I have here my web page, and I think I will show you during this conversation. My Twitter, GitHub. I have here in my GitHub some project that I've been working about the threat hunting, malware, and stuff like that. And if the people would like to send me a message, it would be pleasure, right? And let me introduce myself again. I'm a principal security engineer at Talkdesk. This is a Portuguese company, not Portuguese from Brazil, Portuguese from Portugal. It's different. And this company is responsible to sell a product, the contact center as a service. I'm new employee there, and I'm security researcher at SenhaSegura. It's perfect pronunciation. It's a Brazilian company, but they offering a PAN solution. It's a privileged access management. It's a Brazilian company, but they appears in many important report like a Gartner and Forrester and Kopinger Cool. It's a pretty cool solution. But my job here is to work with research, right, and to see what happened with a new threads and discovery and presenting something related to a threads, not exactly related to a solution. I'm an advocate of this awesome project. It's Hacking Not a Crime. The name is pretty obviously, right? Because hacking is really not a crime. It's a mindset, a creative mind. It's how you can apply your knowledge in a technology. And when you see some applications, how you can create these or how you can explore these, of course. But the point is, it's a lifestyle, right? And for example, if you are a lawyer, it's not a bad lawyer, a criminal lawyer or a good lawyer, and this is the concept of the hacking. When you see something and you using your creative mind. And I'm part of the staff team of the DEFCON group in São Paulo here, and I'm instructor in the hacker security. By the way, we have here in courses in Portuguese, and I'm instructor of the Pentest magazine, one course that I'm teaching about the malware analysis. Okay, so I would like to put every people in the same page. A simple definition about what is threat. Before to talk exactly about the exploitation, about the malware analysis exploration, actually. And I'd like to explain more about what is a threat. A threat, not my definition. It's a definition by this ISO, right? So threat is a potential cause on an incident. And I mean, it's related to a software attacks and theft, intellectual property, or identity theft, or sabotage, or all those things is related to a threat. If you think about the threat, it's usually is related to some software, right? Explored by something. And of course, you have a hardware hacking or stuff like that, but usually is related to some software. So this is a threat, not the Filipi definition. It's definition by ISO, okay? And a simple life cycle about the malware analysis. So what is exactly, first of all, we have a sample, right? Or artifact. We don't know if it's malicious or not. So we have a identification step, important. And after that, you can choose what the best strategy you apply, the statistical analysis and dynamic analysis. Maybe you are asking about the reverse engineering. It's a part of technique using in this analysis, so you can use in statistical analysis, you can use a reverse engineering dynamic analysis, of course, using tools to help you to see about the information. But the point is, you need to understand about those bases, right? Because you need to understand how the important works in the memory, how kind of import you have called by some DLLs and many stuff like that, right? So, but this is the main point about what kind of strategy or method you can apply in your analysis, okay? And after that, you can create a report because you need to present this to someone in your company. If you work with a security, from my perspective, important you present some report to your coordinator or your manager. And after that, you can improve your defenses mechanism, because if you do some analysis in your job, you can improve your security defense, right? Because if you see what the path or what exactly path the malware executing your network, you can improve your defense mechanism, or you can build some thing, the good, beautiful name like a cyber threat intelligence, and you can, strengthening your environment this cybersecurity resilience, because the threats are changing all the time, right? So this is a simple explanation. What is the statistical analysis? Is the first step using the malware analysis, because describe the process of the program is more deeply, right? So you can read about the code, you can understand about the structure, what kind of function it's called by this program. Usually this is the first step using the malware studies or the research, right? Because it doesn't run at this time the malware. It's, you know, it's depending, of course, of the program, but usually it's more safe, right? So this is a simple definition. Dynamic analysis, on the other hand, using in the runtime, usually using some tools to help you to execute something, and you see the report about that. You not a report, you see the log, but you need to understand what this log are telling you in the print, right? And because of this, you need to understand about those bases, okay? Or you can automate this process using the concept called sandbox, right? Sandbox is not it's a simple virtual machine that you can use it to execute the malware inside this controlled environment and to see the behavior. Of course, it's not a simple sandbox, because usually you need to have some engines inside of the sandbox to understand about the behavior of this binary executing inside of this sandbox, okay? So this is a simple definition. Okay, so now, before let's talk about the logical structure about the PDF, I would like to share about something with you here in my virtual machine. So cross your thing about the laws of demo, and let's see what happened here. Okay, so we have here many malwares in my virtual machine here to show you. So first of all, remember when you talk about the identification step, the important step is we need to identify what is exactly this artifact or this sample. So first of all, we can use this file command to see what is exactly the file, right? So let me check here. For example, this invoice, it's a PDF. Okay, we have more than one malware here. Although sample it's a malware. In my case here, I like to work with a real malwares. So let's check here. A sample is a PE, portable executable. Let me check here another. It's a whois. It's another portable executable, right? But the point is, we need to see about those bases. That's my point here. So what work exactly? What is the correct understanding about this file? It's a tool that help you to identify the file, okay? Determining file type. But the point is, how exactly work this tool? And the point is here, the explanation, how this works. Here is, this file have a magic number, what is stored in some place. What place is this information is stored? In particular place near at the beginning, okay? And of course, when you see in the Unix platform, as you can see here in my virtual machine, is a compiled, right? So you just set the file command and you receive a return of this command, identifying based on the magic number. So all those files has a magic number. Of course, the magic number can be manipulated by the researcher, the attacker. It's interesting. So of course you need to trust in this command, but you need to understand how this works in the background, right? So I have here, for example, let me show you here. I have here the file and Maggie, I think it's Maggie and Magic here. Okay, I download here the database of the file command. Sorry for that. Let me check here. Okay, I download here the file command, the database of the file. How for you you need to understand how this works in the background. Of course, this is all those databases, but not compiled, okay? So if I read, for example, whatever, like JavaScript here, JavaScript. If I read here, I can see exactly how the file works in a database. So when you set the command, of course, it's compiled in a Unix platform. And after that, the file command, the database has some rules that can use to identify this file, right? So here, as you can see, this is the information that you need to have in the beginning of the file. Remember when you read, when we read now about the file command, is a magic number. It's stored in the beginning of the file, right? So if I copy here this information and let me generate some file here called malware.txt. And I just have this malware here. Let me put something here, malware, and let me save here. And yes, okay. Okay, not have permission. Okay, no sudo nano and malware doc text. It's okay. I will pass here, not pass this. I will change for malware, just to show how it's possible what manipulate. If I use here file malware text, no, it's another different. It's a malware. Yeah, malware text. Take a look. This is a ASCII. If I read this malware.txt, we have a malware. Okay, this is our file. Okay, let me download it. This is fucking. It's another. This is a malware.py. It's about just only text I have here. Yes. Okay, just need to be confused. So I have here again, malware is a text. Okay, it's we can read the correct. Okay, if I manipulate the beginning of this magic number stored in the particular place in the beginning, as you can see, if I pass here, let me edit here, I will save. And now take a look what happened. If I put file malware.txt, it's not a ASCII, now it's a Node.js script because I'm putting this in the beginning of the file, you know. If I manipulate again one more time and I put here, let me cut here, and I will put this double quote here 3 times, and I will save. So do you know what happened here? You can imagine. So what will happen now? Take a look. This we have a Python script because I'm manipulating. So if you understand about the Python program language, when you set this, you can put all those strings in the same space, right? So I'm manipulating the file here. And if I cut one more time and I put percent PDF, like whatever, and I will save here and take a look what happened now. But the extension is always the same. It's doctext. Take a look at this. Now I have a PDF. So it's very important to understand those bases. So you can see how this works. This a file. So that's my point here. So let's check another interesting point here. For example, take a look at this. Let me return here and let me go to this folder. And I have here file who is. Yeah. So let me check here, strings -a who is pipe less. I will start in the beginning, okay? So we just information about the string. It's not a complete email analysis, it's not a reverse engineer, but it's a first step, the identification step, right? So you can see here the session, right? So doctext, doc.data, and doc.s or C. So the session inside of the PE, the portal is executable. Okay. So if you check here, we can try and find many others information. So here you can see some functions called by what? By some DLL. So here we can some load library and get process address. Usually it's pretty common inside of many malwares. Okay. And you can see here other different, so virtual allocation in memory space, heap, alloc. So many functions. So here you can see the DLLs. So you can use this information to help you. But let's see one important thing interesting. So as you can see here in the beginning, you can't see the MZ signature here, right? So for example, if you using let me check here, XD and XX, I think is this, not XD. XD, no, HD, and any 32, and who is again, and take a look at this. In the beginning is MZ, right? If I check a different way here, for example, and so I have here more bytes. Let me check here more. Let me put here, okay. Take a look at this. We can't see here the MZ, you can see the PE. We just started when you set the strings, started in this moment. If I check here, take a look at this. The strings pipe less, again, you see they started of the string printed, started here in this moment. Take a look at this, right? So why, my question, why didn't appear the MZ in the beginning? Because this is a string, right? So it's the simple question for a simple answer, right? It's pretty simple. If you see here, the strings is a tool that can help you. Take a look what the explanation here. For each file given, strings printed, the printable character sequences that are at least 4 characters long. So you need to understand those bases, not only for file, for string, but you need to understand about the structure of the PDE, the PE, the PDF, the ELF, and so on and so on. It's not just run on a tool or run on an dynamic analysis tool to help you. It's pretty important, right? But we need to understand how this works exactly, because you need to interpret this information or understand the result of the log when you set some command, right? So cool. So let's continue to talk about the structure of the PDF. In general, we have 4 parts in a PDF. The header, it's very common in all files, the body, then cross-reference table or X table, and trailer, okay? It's divided in 4 parts, actually. And we have a body when you have a page, images, and whatever. And you have an X table or cross-reference table. It's specifically part of the object within the file for access random from the other object. It's connected, both of them, right? And the trailer is the same idea. It's location the certain object within the body, okay? So this is the structure of the PDF. Why I need to understand? Because when you use some tools to help you, you can identify what is exactly or how is created or how the attacker can use this in the PDF, okay? So let's see now the demo about the explanation. We have here, I think it's more 20 minutes, and I will explain this analysis, okay? I have here this CV in the resume. So let's suppose someone received this resume in the company. So first of all, the identification steps, okay? I record this to be more easily to explain you, okay? First of all, I will use the PDF ID, this tool provided from DDA Steven, right? So they created to execute some scan inside of the PDF. And of course, when DDA Steven create these tools, probably they understand about the structure of the PDF, about how exactly is the cross-reference table, the trailer, and so on and so on. And as we can see here in this command, we have in this object 15 objects here. Okay, we have 2 streaming. What that means? Streaming. Streaming usually is the place when many times the attacker using to put something malicious, or maybe a JavaScript or some URL or many things inside of this stream. Of course, it's a very interesting point, because when you study about the threats or the security, the people would like to, the young people actually like to study about or try to discover a new exploit or 0 days or, but we need to understand how the known threads works. After I understand how the known thread works, I can understand the techniques. I can understand how is the creative mind used by the attacker in these attacks. And after that, I can understand the different techniques. And of course, after that, I can develop in my 0 days skills. And it's not a 0 day skills, okay? But the point is, we need to understand about the known threads, or after that, understand how the unknown threads works. It's, from my perspective, I don't know if it's correct or not, but just my perspective, if you have another opinion, it's no problem. It's okay. It's no worries about that. We have a space for everyone. And the point is, from my perspective, we need to understand about the known threads. Okay, so when you understand the known threads, you can create the tools, right? If you have these good skills of the programming language, you can develop the tools. By the way, I suggest you. Okay, so let's continue the analysis here. And they have here some others interesting informations here. So this command, it's pretty cool because when you execute the PDF ID, take a look at this as slashes here, slash page, slash encrypt, slash JavaScript, slash AA. So here you can see something inside of the PDF. Probably when DDA Steven created this tool, they find some informations related to open action. So what that means, open action in this case? Open action is basically when the user or the victim receive the PDF and execute the download action. Just only download the file inside their environment, okay, or itself download in the victim machine. The user no need to click again to execute the malware or execute the PDF inside the victim machine. No need to execute. Why? Because this open action, it's enough to execute itself the file, just only download to the internet. Okay, so when you find the open action, that means that when the file download the victim machine, the user no need to click again. Okay, so that's the point here. So probably when the DDA Steven developer, I'm supposed, okay, probably when the DDA Steven create this tool, probably they understand about this behavior, okay, because probably they analyze many times the many different threads, many different different files, and they probably understand about the known threads, and after that they create tool. Makes sense for me. And so when you have open action or AA, for example, that means that the user don't need to click. You have, not you, but the malware has action automatically after the download, okay? So that's the point here. Now, cool. So let's continue to see. So we have here 5 JavaScript. So it's totally suspicious. We have a 5 JavaScript and you have an open action in this file. It's a PDF. Okay, I'm continue to analyze. After that, I execute the PDF parser. It's another tool from DDA Steven. All those tools are inside of the Unix platform, as you can see. So here some flags or commands or parameters, whatever name, that you can set in your analysis. So I set the JavaScript to see how many JavaScript we have. So as we can see here in the object 7, object 11, 12, sorry. And take a look at this important in the key, there's something interesting. We have here in the beginning, take a look at this, object 1 and type catalog and referencing. Remember when I talked about the cross-reference table and access randoming and the cross-reference table inside of the body. So as we can see here, the object 1 referring and object 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 6 and 7. But remember that we have 15 objects inside of this PDF, right? And another interesting point here is, take a look at this. We have an open action. Remember that my explanation about the open action? So the user just need to click the download, the PDF, and the PDF will download in the environment. And the PDF started automatically something, but we don't know at this moment. But as we can see here, we have a JavaScript linked with an open action. I mean, after the download, something happened automatically with a JavaScript. We can see here, but the code is not identifiable, right? We can see exactly the information, okay? But we need to investigate more. Nice, cool. So let's continue to do the analyze. So we found the 5 JavaScript in this related to this string as I show you here. So let's continue to see. So I'm set PDF parser, and I would like to see the RAM data. It's the complete data inside of this PDF. Okay. So I will show you here this command, important command here to find information. The run output for data and filters. This is the command that I am setting here, okay, to see the all run data inside of this PDF, to see more clear all those objects. So in this case, I just have only 15 objects, but Sometimes we have a 60 object. It's many objects inside of the PDF, okay? So again, you can see here, open action and JavaScript, okay? And we can suppose it's totally malicious because it have an open action and a JavaScript, okay? And we have an object 2, object 3, object 4, and again, we have here one other interesting point. Take a look at this, because remember, we have an object 1 at 7, but we have a 15, okay? And here in object 4, take a look at this. We have another 2 different or 2 new reference, an object 8 and object 9. So now we can see more objects to investigate, right? Because we don't know exactly where is the place that we find the JavaScript. And now we have a new reference, right? It's object 10. And in object 10, we have a JavaScript here. So maybe it's an object 10. Let's see what happened inside object 10. Object 9 is just an image, not important thing, but we have another object here, object 11. It's more close. In object 10, we have the first reference, another reference, actually, object 12, and this is the JavaScript that we find. And here, take a look. In object 11, we have the first streaming. Remember, in the beginning, we found 2 streaming. And take a look at this. In this object, the length is 36. It's a small length. The size inside of this streaming is totally small. Maybe we need to investigate because we can put in something inside there. Object 12, reference object 13, and this object 13, take a look what I found here. Another streaming, but here we have the length. It's high, it's big, right? And here we have another important information to tell you. Take a look at this, we have a flat, we have here flat decode. What does that mean, Filipi? Flat decode, it means that I need to decode something. It's cool, obviously, but okay. I need to decode what? I need to decode this streaming. So this is the action that I need to do. I need to decode this information inside of this streaming. Okay, so probably this is the object more suspicious for my perspective. Okay, because it's for makes sense for me. It's a big size, and this is the okay. This I mean writing about that. This is the main object, and I wrote it wrong. It's not mailing, a main object. Okay, object 15. So just not important information. So now we need to read more about the object 15. This is the main object. Okay. So are you using now PDF TK? This is another platform that I use in this analysis. This tool is not from DDA Steven, right? Okay, so this is a pretty cool tool to manipulate PDF, and we have many functions, many flags to set here, like a merge PDF documents and whatever. But I used this just only to uncompress and recompress. In my case, I would like to uncompress because I found many informations inside of this run data. This I need to uncompress all information inside of this PDF mainly in the object 13. So I sat here, I put the output because I need to copy all those information from this dump doc text. I execute the uncompress command, and now I have the uncompressed data inside of this dump. Okay, and take a look at this. I have clear information inside of this streaming, this object 13. And now we have the first technique used by the attacker. Here we have a JavaScript obfuscated. Okay, okay. For me now it makes sense because I investigate more about that and I see some other encodes inside of this. And of course, we don't have a time to explain all those steps, but basically it's a JavaScript obfuscated. And if you see here, when I pass and I copy and pass here this code in this file, I generate this file sample doc text. You can see here the different colors here. So probably we can see more about that. And I see here some evil parameters, and I'm thought when I made this investigation. If I'm talking about the JavaScript, so probably I need to print something in the internet. So if I will print something in the internet, I can manipulate this in HTML, right? And I change this parameter using this eval parameter to write this information in a browser. Okay, so I set the document right to write this in a web page to try to obfuscate this information, because the attacker using the JavaScript obfuscated. So my idea is it was obfuscate this information in a web browser. Okay, using this eval parameter. Okay, so I save the file, I change some parameters, I create the sample, as you can see here, I give the permission to execute this. Okay, now I can execute this in a browser, right, in Google Chrome or Firefox. I don't remember, in a Firefox in this case. Okay, when I execute this, take a look what happened. I received the print, this information in a web browser. To take a look this, we have now the payload. In this case, this is a payload responsible for what? For executing the callback in the victim machine to the attacker, right? So inside of this JavaScript, we had what? We have the payload responsible to call back to the CNC. So I could finish my investigation, but I continue to do. I copy all those codes and I pass this in another file because I see some standard in this code. And I generate another file called payload, as we can see here, right? And I saw actually this standard number percent ladder, number percent ladder. I saw this standard in this code. So my idea was to cut this percent to understand about, as you can see here, take a look at this. We have a number, ladders, numbers, ladder numbers, but I had a percent here. In this case, I use set to cut this percent because I would like to copy this information here. This information here, the attacker using another technique, the encode techniques, based on NU2C, no, NU and EC. Actually, it's old techniques, but based on the now is UTF-16 basically. Now it's another, it's evolution of these techniques, right? So now UTF-16 now, and this is E2C, U2, EUC, UCT. I don't remember the name correct now, but it's the evolution of this old techniques. It was now is UTF-16, okay? And they using these techniques, UC2, EU2C, using Unicode technique to encode this information. So now I change, as you can see, the other environment, because I would like to explain the same exploration for the perspective from the Windows machine. So I copy here, as you can see, the same code, and I cut this percent. Take a look at this standard as I mentioned, right? So as you can see here, the ladder, percent, number, ladder, percent, and number. So I will use here another platform, Mozilla, sorry. And here we can see the correct name. The old techniques, as I mentioned, is here. UCS2, sorry, UCS, this is the correct name. It's old, right? So the correct name now is UTF-16. Sorry for that, okay? And I cut here, as you can see, and I execute this exec to file. I generate a binary, as you can see here. I called CNC, if I remember correct the name, yes. And I generate this UCS2 encode. I generate a binary, as you can see, right? And after that, I use short to search some HTTP access inside of this binary that I generate now. And as you can see here, I found the CNC from the attacker. So now we have all those informations of the attacker. So we have a JavaScript encoded, obfuscated, sorry. And inside of this JavaScript, we had a payload. Inside of this payload, we have an encode technique based on UCS2. And inside of this UCS2, we have, they made a request to this CNC. So if you have here, this is the CNC in Estonia, by the way, right? As I show you here, it's based on Estonia, right? It's based on Estonia. Yeah, yes, it's based on Estonia. Okay, and if you see here in VirusTotal, this is IP malicious using to explore victim machines. Okay, and here's some recommendations about some books that the people usually ask me about. There are some recommendations. So we have here the malanalysis mastering from Becht and malanalysis techniques and threat hunting. And by the way, I have, if you'd like to receive, I have 5 free ebooks to send you by email. Just send me a message in the social media, and Twitter, for example. Filipi, I heard about your talk. I was in an event. I would like to receive this free ebook. And if you'd like to buy this in Amazon, for example, I can get you on a discount ticket, right? And I can send you. Okay, so now I finished my presentation. I think I passed 1 minute. Okay, and I don't know if the people have some questions. So if you have any questions, so please let me know.
Yeah, thank you for the talk. Thank you for great presentation. And now we are ready for Q&A. And I'm just checking everywhere if we had any during the talk. Okay. So currently we still have none, but normally it takes people a couple of minutes to type them in. If you are in Zoom with us and you want to ask your question out loud, remember that you have this option. You can do it. You can raise your hand and then we will give
you if you have some shame, you can send them a message. You see, if the people have some shame, you can send me a message by social media, no worries.
Yeah, thanks for being such an open person. We will we will publish this online, and if anyone has questions, they will reach out certainly. Yeah. But I am sure that we will have questions right now. Just yeah, mind the gap between what's going on in the real time and what's going on YouTube, because there is always a delay of 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, but I was watching in the YouTube, but not in English. The problem is that I don't understand. I live in Poland 1 year, but it's totally different, and you know the letter is different.
It's not that different when you're Polish, you know, because we can speak and understand each other mostly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have some colleagues from the Kiev and that time, and the pronunciation is some similar like a Brazilian and Spanish. But the letters is totally different.
Yeah, you know, yeah, we write differently, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it seems there are no questions.
Okay,
which is
I don't know I don't know if it's good or not, but probably the people good or not.
Normally it's good because it means that everything is clear and everyone followed it. And yeah, I think that it should be a good sign. But I have a question.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's just very simple. Being such a being a guy such interested in finding this kind of artifacts in documents, do you have some automation around everything you get, like via email or download from websites? Like, I don't know. I was a web guy before becoming a manager. I was like AppSec guy, so I basically put all my traffic through a setup of HTTP proxy, Zap, and Burp. You know, just in case. Yeah. So do you do something similar?
No, actually, in this moment, no, I didn't use anything. And for example, when I need to investigate something, I open my virtual machine and I use some tools. But probably I'm thinking in the future, because now I'm working with SenhaSegura. It's a Brazilian company again. I'm starting this new research team. It's only one person for now, but in the future we have something like a SenhaSegura Labs or stuff like that. But my idea is to create some environment to create this, to receive some artifacts, you know, or create some flow. Like I have like antivirus at you know, antivirus.com to receive some sample suspicious from the community, and after that to pass through this like email, after that some sandbox, or you know, or I install some honeypots to receive attacks, to see the behavior, to understand how this works, and to see something is strange, and then after that, or to investigate more deeply, right?
Yeah.
But of course, depending on the infrastructure, because when you see, for example,
I was right twice, so it looks like everyone followed and everyone got everything, but the only question we have for now is, could you please repeat the names of the tools that you used through the presentation?
Yeah, of course. Using the PDF ID, this is embedded on the Unix platform, and PDF ID, PDF parser, I use in a PDF TK, but you can search in Google, putting their DDA Steven, and they have a PDF tools. All those tools is there, okay? And you can download this package using in the Windows platform if you want. But more than these tools is embedded in the Unix platform.
And anyway, we will have the recording online on YouTube. So if anyone is interested, just refer to the recordings. I think we will be publishing them very soon, like in a week or something. Okay, any more questions maybe? Okay then, so let's wrap it up. Filipi, thank you once again for the great instructive talk. Yeah, I hope I will have some time to put aside and watch it once again on record.
Yeah, thank you, Vlad. Thank you for this time. And again, if the people have some questions, you can send me. And thank you again for this time, this opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. The contacts and social media presence of Filipi will be published, as well as the recording of the video. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.